almost every night. Bounce back and make it in my stride. Put me down like I'm made to lose. Ain't never walked a day in these shoes.
Welcome to the opening race weekend of the inaugural season of the Royal Enfield GT Cup at Curry Motor Speedway. The last time, 18 racers emerged from 100 candidates, the 18 fastest. And the very next day, they took to the track for practice and coaching. Crucial because the race bike, the Continental GT R650, is new to them. It's bigger, faster, and much heavier than they're used to. It might be close to the production bike in stock trim, but retro racing on a powerful machine is a new flavor. The layout of the racetrack is also new, so track time is very important. The challenge is the same for everyone, but it's a completely new task for each and every racer.
Unstoppable.
I love how excited the racers are by this challenge. They all want the exact same thing: to find a way to go faster, faster than themselves, faster than ever before, and faster than everyone else here. Their strength and intelligence is channeled entirely into this singular, laser-focused pursuit. The intensity is astonishing and life-affirming. They don't race because they exist. They live to race. They know that this is race 1 of 8, the first race of a long championship. They must go as fast as they can, but they also must be able to stay fast and go faster for many more races on this motorcycle. Race wins are awesome, but the championship title, it's even better. All the racers have the exact same motorcycle, so the races will be won on pure skill and strategy.
Play around with a motorcycle which weighs more than 2 to 3 times of your body weight, and at that speed, pretty much hanging out of the bike just with our core and legs, is not an easy thing to do for a period of 6 to 10 laps.
For racing, we want much stamina. We want really good focus for the racing. If we lose our focus, we can't even do racing.
When you're racing, you're planning everything in a fraction of seconds. So we need to plan and keep the mind as sharp as possible.
It's about how consistently you put in the efforts throughout the year.
Zena Fernandez, or Zena, is the only girl on the grid. We spotted her with her reindeer headband, XXL sunglasses, and green leathers as a mold breaker right from the selection round.
Now I won't stop believing. I'ma shatter the ceiling. Do you know what I mean now? Oh no, what's she gonna do about it?
I'm Zena and I'm 24 years old. I'm from Pondi.
You can't contain me.
So I dabble a bit in painting and I work as a social media analyst, and I'm also a psychologist by profession.
Now I won't stop believing.
Started riding a bike when I was 14. My dad used to race. He always wanted to be a racer. Now that I'm living his dream, I can see the pride in his face every time I race. I want to fight in a place with lot of competition because I want to get better.
Zena's intensity and approach make her someone to watch out for. One of the racers she must beat is Anfal Akhdar, her exact opposite. Anfal only just started racing, and while it's dead serious on track, everywhere else is anything but.
My name is Enfield and I'm from Kerala. I started chasing my dreams by looking for many racing academies and all. And after 2 years of many practice and all, I'm here. For a beginner racer, he should be at least from 45 to 50 kgs. So I'm in that weight. I want the podium, or I want to be in win. That's my target every time when I come to race.
It might be all fun and games with Anfal, but he's rock steady in his determination to be at the top of every race he starts. You can literally see the tension because this is where the actual action starts. Everything that they've done in their lives up to this point is a build-up to this very thing. The lights will go out, and from that point, for every moment, they'll have to bring maximum performance to the show. And this is not a video game, this is real life. It hurts when you fall, you get one chance at it, and the race is over in 10 laps, no matter what's going on in your life. Zena, as usual, has a plan in place.
I want to get used to the bike, trying to build progressively and get as much inputs as possible.
Physically, the fittest man on track is Anish Shetty.
From now on is actually the game starts of how do you set up a few small things, how do you get the best out of the bike.
Awesome. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Anish Shetty immediately went into the lead, trailed by Alvin Xavier.
First 2 laps, the top bunch was pushing too much.
I just happened to see how the race was going for a bit.
Very quickly, Alvin Xavier was past Anish Shetty and he would go on to lead most of the laps of this race.
Has he forced the problems here? Yes, I think he's going to get the opportunity to overtake him. Takes the inside line. Alvin Xavier has taken the race lead from Anish Shetty.
It didn't make sense to just go put the hammer down and push because we have another race to ride tomorrow.
Bike number 17, Anish Shetty, who's now wrestled the lead away.
Anish Shetty, in his typical calculated racer brain style, took the lead just before the finish to take the first win of the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup.
Or will there be a different winner? No, it is Anish Damodar Shetty who takes the checkered flag.
According to Anish, staying behind Alvin allowed him to conserve his motorcycle, conserve his tires, and let Alvin do all the hard work.
Just waited for the couple of laps.
I did a mistake in the exit. I didn't hit the gear. Bike hit the limiter. So I thought, okay, second.
Zena, on the other hand, was in a place where there was a crash happening right in front of her motorcycle.
Well, that's the first incident. The bike has slid off.
I had a very good start and I tried to catch the front bunch, but unfortunately there was a crash in front of me in the first lap and I had to go out and then rejoin, so I had lost a lot of positions. The bike was good, the tires were too good. Looking forward to have a very good start tomorrow.
Anfal, the pole sitter, got swallowed up at the start.
After 1 lap, the second fastest came in front of me. Few corners, I was studying how he's riding. In C1, I closed him, so I know I can take him next lap.
And after that, he started to run into trouble with his gear changes.
I got these cramps with my muscles, and after riding for 10 laps, it's everything gone.
Were you crying at the end?
Yeah. After 5th lap, no. I am in straights, I'm shifting the gears in hand.
Are you serious?
I left the leg like this and full throttle, gear.
He'd put so much strain that he torn a muscle in his calf. So when you went to the doctor, what did he say?
He told that nothing is there inside, only it's a muscle tear because it became so tight.
So you had leg pump?
Yeah, leg pump. Also this hand pump.
Hand pump
both.
Also? Well done, bro. Question is, will Anfal return for race 2? Will Zena do better in the second race? Can Alvin win the second time around? Can Anish think and plan his way to a second victory and an early lead in the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup?
Checkered flag, and boy did it deliver with Anish Damodar Shetty, as Raman said. Final lap of the race, 1 minute 18.325.
Lighting up the fires, all the fires in me.
Anish Shetty is no stranger to racing or winning. An experienced racer, his unwavering focus, which governs every aspect of his life, makes him a force to reckon with in this series.
I'm Anish Shetty, I'm based out of Bangalore. I'm a software engineer come professional motorcycle racer. So I've been racing for 7 years now. I'm into cross-country rallies as well as circuit racing. I've won multiple national championships and I've also represented India for the Asian Road Racing Championship. I was born and brought up in Hubli, and there racing is definitely not something which is even people have heard of. And one garage, there were a couple of guys who were racing, so that's how I got introduced to racing, and I started my career in off-road racing. So I started racing when I was in college, and that time the only condition from my parents was I always should get a distinction so that they'll support me for racing. Today, for every single race I go for, my dad is always beside me. 2021, I won the title of the fittest man in Asia. And also good competition is something I would look forward, because then it will push me to push myself more to get better as well. It's only about winning.
Anish's methodical, studied approach is in direct contrast to his happy-go-lucky rival, Alvin Xavier. Alvin likes a laugh, is naturally funny, and races very hard indeed.
I'm Alvin Xavier, Thrissur, Kerala. My coach was Leo and Travis Wingman. He's riding in Moto America. So when he saw me riding in CSS, he told me you should take up racing and all. When a guy like him tell us to race, I don't know, he'll do racing. Papa was not at all supportive, but Amma was supportive. And after last year, I got some podiums. After that only Papa started to say, he can do something. And after that only he started to support. Amma is very afraid because when she saw me racing, I crashed. So after that, she don't watch my races. She just called me and asked results.
Alvin's pace is unquestionable, but in race 1, he couldn't find a way to the front despite leading most of the race. But there is the second race to fight for. Race 2 brings more pressure because the nature of the playing field is now becoming clearer. Anish's pace is a target, Alvin will be at the front, and Jayant Pratipati can cut right through the pack to the podium. And others have their own personal challenges. Among them is Anfal, who is fighting through a painful injury. How will this affect his plan for race 2?
Starting from 9th.
Oh, big challenge. So only 9 people to pass,
that's
not a
all.
big deal.
If I can, I will do. That's all. Yeah, I will give my best.
Who else's best you can give? You can only give your best. No?
Yeah.
Alvin led most of the first race, but to the line he was beaten just by fractions by Anish.
Today I'll try to stay behind Anish most probably.
Okay.
So I know
And
I can steady him at least.
Last lap kill.
Last 2 laps I'll try to push. Full push.
Now explain 2 racing terminologies for us. What is tactics?
Tactics. Tactics, which means we can't say, you can't tell it to another rider what's our plans.
What is the tactics?
Yeah.
Okay, and what is Pever?
Pever is like, hey, he's the founder of Pever.
Power is power into 2. Power into 2.
Pever.
Most of them had great starts, but it was one man who led from the start, and Anish by turn 4 was already ahead of the pack and a gap was created.
Though for a moment you had a feeling that Alvin Xavier was charging and probably had the better of him in the first 50 meters or so, but on bike number 17, Anish Shetty is in the lead.
As soon as Anish realized, last race of the weekend, last race on these tyres most likely, and the pack wasn't right on his tail, he pulled the pin.
I put my hammer on only for maybe 3 laps, but then still every lap there was, a gap building within us. The guys behind are fighting and slowing down each other.
As you can see, he's looking back time and time again to see exactly how far ahead is he, because I don't think he can see them.
But behind him, a lot of drama was unfolding.
Better start than yesterday. I saw Alvin making a move on another guy who came from behind, and both of them ran wide.
Jayant Pratipati, in fact, has moved up to second, and dropping down to third is Alvin Xavier.
Alvin had a problem with his brakes, and eventually he had to settle for second.
From the first braking marker itself, I was struggling with the brakes.
His job was made easier by the fact that Jayant, who had a very solid third place, a very solid race, unfortunately had a crash.
Well, and that's a issue. He slid off there as a Giant. He was trying to put in a lot of pressure on Alvin Xavier.
Making the most of all of this drama was, of course, Anfal. Anfal had come through the pack, and Jayant's crash meant that he was suddenly elevated to the podium, and therefore the final 3 who stood on the podium were Anish, Alvin and Anfal.
And you can see he looks behind and then starts celebrating.
As he soaks in the victory, Alvin Xavier coming at number 2. But look at the way Alvin is looking at it. He knows he's finished at number 3. He knows.
For 5th lap itself, I started getting pain. So I was like, oh, I want to finish the race. I want the podium like that. But I tried my best and gave my best.
You could see the sense of relief. It started with a lot of tension building up, and race 2 was the release of all of that tension.
I can't stop, I don't quit, won't be bowing down, I won't take it. Back to the top, won't be pushed aside.
Brilliant, I would say really brilliant. The feedback that I got from the riders that the bikes were performing the same as they were on lap 1 and lap 10. No drop in performance, no drop in anything. So they were really happy with the bikes, and so am I.
Two races are done, 6 races to go, 18 racers, all trying to figure out how to make this motorcycle go even faster. The quest for finding a better way to do it will never stop. Every single one of these 18 individuals are absolutely remarkable human beings, and the way they're willing to push their minds, their bodies and their motorcycles to the limit, I think a more inspiring story cannot be written.